For our first lesson in Chapter 5, we're going to start with some review. So we're going to review how to rewrite equations into slope-intercept form, and then also how to graph equations once they're in slope-intercept form. Reminder that slope is rise over run, and we also have some equivalent slopes. If I have, for example, negative 3 over 2, that is the same slope as 3 over negative 2. So if you're at the top or the bottom of a graph and there's not room to go up or down, you can use the equivalent slope. And then the y-intercept, it's on the y-axis. And we're going to start at this point to graph. And then slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. M is our slope, and b is our y-intercept. Number 1 is already in slope-intercept form, so I can go right to graphing. Our y-intercept is a positive 3, so on the y-axis we're going to go up to 1 to positive 3. Our slope is negative 2 over 3. So kind of how we talked about up here, those equivalent slopes, I've got one negative sign. I could choose to either move the negative to the top on the 2 or to the bottom on the 3. Let's choose to make the 2 on the top right now. So negative 2 over positive 3. As long as there's still just one negative sign, it's an equivalent slope. So now we're going to go negative 2, and then we're going to go right 3, 1, 2, 3, and then there's our new point, and then we can draw our line, and don't forget the arrows. Number 2, our y-intercept is negative 2, so we're going to start on the y-axis down here at negative 2. Our slope needs to be a fraction, rise over run, so I'm going to make this 3 over 1. And then they're both positive, so I'm going to go positive 3, 1, 2, 3, over a positive 1, and then I can draw my line. And then we can make some notes in case you are having trouble remembering that up and right are positive directions, and down and left are negative directions. Okay, looking at 3 and 4. Now these are in standard form, so they need to be rewritten into slope-intercept form. So we're going to rewrite these first. So slope-intercept form needs to look like y equals mx plus b. So I need to move that 4x to the other side. To do that, we do inverse operations. So it's a positive 4x now. The opposite is going to be negative 4x on both sides. That way this cancels from here. So now I have a 2y is equal to, I'm going to put that x term first. So that's a negative 4x. Then I also have a positive 10. And then the y is almost by itself, but it's still being multiplied by 2. So the opposite is to divide by 2. But then I have to divide everything over here by 2. So then I end up with y equals negative 4 divided by 2 is just negative 2. And then 10 divided by 2 is 5. And now we can graph our line. So our y-intercept is positive 5. And then our slope is negative 2 over 1, so we can make it a fraction. So down 2, because it's negative, is down. Positive 1. And I can keep going, down 2 over 1, down 2 over 1. So we can do that slope as many times as we need. And later in this chapter, we're going to need our lines to be nice and straight, so it's easier to make more points from your slope. Number 4. Opposite of minus 3 is plus 3. So we always want that to be the opposite so that it makes 0. Negative 3 and positive 3, that makes 0. And we have our 4y is equal to, I want that x term to come first, so that's a positive 3x. And then I have a negative, so I'm going to put minus for negative 16. And then again, y is almost by itself, but it's still being multiplied by 4. So the opposite to divide by 4, everything gets divided. So then I end up with y equals, and then 3 over 4 I can't redo, so I'm just going to say 3 over 4. We do not want to turn it into a decimal because we need that rise over run. And then negative 16 divided by 4 is negative 4. Now we can graph our line. Our y-intercept is negative 4. So We'll start down here at -4. Then we're going to go +3 and +4. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Make our new point, and then we can draw our line. A couple other things to remember that we might want to make a note of. If I have, for example, the equation y equals x. So we're missing two things here. We're missing the slope. If the slope is missing, it must be a 1. And we're also missing the y-intercept. If the y-intercept is missing, it must be +0. So this equation really becomes y equals 1x plus 0. So anytime you're missing the y-intercept, it must be a 0. And anytime you're missing the slope, it must be a 1. Unless you have something like this, y equals -x. This would be y equals -1x. And then obviously you can make those into a fraction over 1 to find your rise over run to graph it.